Hello and welcome to Auto Talk. I'm Jacob Jenkins.
And I'm Donovan Keys. We apologize for technical issues. We have a memoriam for Sparky. Just unfortunate issues. But anyways, back to the podcast.
Back to the podcast. With this week's episode, we have a very special guest, my good friend Jackson Gillespie. How you doing?
I'm killing it now.
You are killing it, man. Glad to have you. So Jackson, I know you're quite the automotive enthusiast. I know you pretty well at this point. Quite the enthusiast. But how did you get into cars and trucks in the first place?
Yeah, so my family, we've always kind of lived in a rural area, and you didn't have much else to do. And so my dad and me would work on cars, and he got me my first truck when I was 5, and we would just work on it until I was old enough to drive it. And it's just always been kind of something in my family where we take cars pretty seriously and kind of cherish them because they're the second most expensive thing you buy.
That's
so
true. I never thought about it.
It's good to have a good relationship with it.
Yeah, true. Completely agree.
All right. Start us off, Jackson. I got to ask you just a start off question. In the past year, America has pivoted away from going completely with automakers delaying the electric vehicle goals and receiving demands for the EVs. Than anticipated. How do you feel about the shift back to internal combustion engines?
I'd say the shift is kind of a big movement because electric vehicles are getting really expensive, and we don't quite have the infrastructure yet for everyone to regularly have them. You look at gas stations in America, you don't see that many superchargers or chargers for electric cars, but every single gas station has 16 pumps, 8 pumps, and it's hard to manage that on a large scale. And in terms of popularity, internal combustion has always kind of been the way to go, especially if you're looking at enthusiast vehicles, and then you're also looking at commercial use. You can't really use commercial vehicles like freight vehicles electric most of the time. So that combined with just general popularity, I feel like has been pushing ICEs back into the forefront of everyone's mind.
Yeah, awesome. And this kind of segues into that. If EVs can really gain any traction, especially in America. President Trump's big, beautiful bill for the foreseeable future, end the clean vehicle tax credit of $7,500, and also end the used electric vehicle tax credit of $4,000 on September 30th. So that will surely reduce EV initiatives, considering the rest of the world is making moves towards electrification. China, for example, and we're trying to keep them out. Do you think this is the right move for America?
I'm inclined to believe it's not the right move for America, simply just because we've been making so much progress and so much headway in EV technology, and especially as such a car-focused society. Public transport's not really dominant in the United States,
right,
and cars are our primary transportation. Being able to justify the purchase of an electric vehicle and make more people get into it, therefore expanding that industry, I think the tax credit was really, really important. And now we're looking at, you can't really justify that, $40,000 to $50,000 because the MSRP is obviously $32,000, but
yep,
dealer fees and everything.
Yep.
And so you'd want to get a cheaper car, and you just can't get electric, especially at the end of your taxes. The end of that year, you want that return and you want that cut. So it's kind of killing the lifeline that we are trying to put out there because we're not looking into public transport and we're not really looking into electric vehicles anymore. The question is, where are we going to go from now?
Right. And the thing is, they could also apply that tax credit to the point of sale and get that discount right when you buy it. And those high-cost electric vehicles now out of reach.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. So next question for you. So do you think the move is economically efficient, considering the EVs hold 10% of the new vehicle share market?
I just think it's kind of difficult to...
Tough question.
That is a tough question. I don't know. I feel like that number could definitely grow because I know in my kind of circle, we had a couple of people in my friends, they got their first electric car before the bill was passed, so they got their tax credit. and they didn't know about it. And the dealer was the one who told them about it. And so I think that education halfway killed it. And so that 10% is probably going to drop here soon.
Yep. And so many Americans, as you know, have turned to hybrids, which is like the easier, more convenient alternative to electric vehicles. It's an easier way to go green and save on the pump, of course. Do you see hybrids dominating the automotive landscape for the foreseeable future?
100%, Jacob. I am a huge proponent of hybrid vehicles. I think plug-in hybrid is going to be kind of the future moving forward for the general public, because you get those advantages of ICEs. You know, you have fuel just available everywhere. Most hybrids run off of 87 regular gas, and so you're not really questioning the price, and you're not pushing your customers. Hybrid technology has been around for a really, really long time. And so I think there's an advantage there because you can get the best of both worlds. It's even expanded onto other vehicle platforms. Things like motorcycles can be hybrids now. And that kind of expansion, especially paired with the efficiency of hybrid vehicles, you're consuming less gas and practicality. So say you get home and you're low on gas, you don't have enough gas at the gas station, you can plug it into your house and charge enough to get to where you need to go.
Yep.
And so I feel like that's a huge advantage. And you look at the big scape, and I think hybrids are kind of the future as a power plant and as a way to sustain our car culture in America.
Right. Do you think extended range vehicles will come into that play, where the engine acts as a generator?
Most hybrids do. Most hybrids do charge their battery while driving. I just think plug-in is usually the way it's probably going to head, because we already have the infrastructure of chargers and we already have things kind of sitting around. But I do think longer range vehicles, especially when you're getting into the 500 to 600 miles of range, is when we're really going to be heading into a really good spot, especially as gas will eventually start to creep up on us sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And so relying on hybrid will kind of help us
Yeah.
move that along.
People love to have vehicles that can go like halfway across the country.
Exactly.
They need it.
They love it.
Can't do the short EVs, not at all. So Ford is expected to release a family affordable electric vehicle starting around $30,000 before incentives around 2028. Do you think the initiatives like cars push EVs into the mainstreams, or will EVs continue to lag behind in internal combustion?
I think the core issue is definitely marketing. A lot of companies who've wanted to expand into the electric vehicle market has either rushed into it or not built a brand identity behind it. And so we look at, the case of Dodge. They came out with their Daytona electric coupe, and that has been an utter, complete market failure. And it's not because it's a bad car. It's not because it's a bad power plant. It is bad because the brand didn't expand on it and didn't try to identify with it. They rushed into it to put something out there. And what we have to see is our manufacturers making products that actually intrigues, the American public. Things like Tesla, things like Rivian.
Yep.
They've been able to have a staying power and a stock in the market because they are ahead of the game.
Right.
And they are electric companies.
Yeah.
We don't really see as much success with gasoline manufacturer companies running into the electric market. Ford is making an exception, but they're also putting a lot of chips on their table for that. So I'd like to see where we head in the next 10 years and see what kind of brands can kind of branch out. I think a lot of the Japanese brands are ahead of the game. But here in America, it's kind of tough.
Yeah, it's
Kind of
exciting.
tough.
We'll see what happens.
We will see what
Exciting.
happens.
See what happens. Well, thank you, Jackson, for coming on. Really appreciate it, man, for our special edition of Auto Talk, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you.